what they did, they made a connection with the staff of NHIF. And with this, you realize somebody, if I act where he is, there are things which Gachagua will not accommodate. Like if you tell Samidoh, who is just trying to earn an honest living in the entertainment industry, you now start putting him a caveat that don't go to this person, don't go to this person. If you go to this person, I'm going to whip your following so that you don't make your ends meet. I think it is another year or there. What of, like where I come from, the time limit of this loan ending, it is that time I think the Lord will wind up the world. That's the time loans will end.
Aishi sai.
Yeah, no. It cannot end because we are still borrowing. The other day, the president went with this team to get some more from Beijing. And they got 600 billion from very fine.
Yeah.
God has given me protection.
Alright.
I'm fine in good health.
So watu wamekuwa wakiulizia, last time tukifanya interview uliguzia mambo ya NHIF na SHA, ukasema watu wachache wa nje hawataki SHA ifanye iendelee hapa Kenya. Kwa sababu gani? Walikuwa na benefit, kuna wenye walikuwa na benefit kwa NHIF. So tunataka leo tuambie NHIF ilikuwa inafanyaje kazi, alafu ilikuwa ya government ama ilikuwa private, na kwa nini watu wengine walikuwa wanapigana nayo isitolewe? Kama SHA sasa na serikali inafanya kazi, hao kina nani walikuwa wanapigana na SHA yenyewe wanataka NHIF iendelee?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let me say I'm very happy for being given a second opportunity to give a release over the same I did the other time. But of course, when I go straight to your question, let it be very clear. In our society, we have a mindset that is inertia. An inertia mindset is a mindset that doesn't want to go with the changes. Even if their station at that time, their position at that time is not viable. Now, you asked about the NHIF. The NHIF health scheme was not bad. But then you realize we have a people who developed a tendency in this country to rape where they've not sown. Wanapendanga always kufanya the harvesting where they've not participated. Like the SHA, the NHIF. I can literally tell you, like if you monitor the current affairs, there was never a long time ago when just a cleaner or a messenger in NHIF who had a net worth of over 400 million. Now, tell me where this guy getting cash. And now, if you are very keen with the happenings, the happenings that were in NHIF, you realize we had hostels, private hostels, that were literally hell-bent to mint money from NHIF. If a patient walks in, let's say an outpatient, at the end of the day, the report, they get money from NHIF that person has gone to cesarean section. The delivery done by surgical concept. But now, the person who's gone the cesarean section is a male. These things are depicted, they are there. And so, you realize these people, they were cartels, they were hospitals that were purely meant to do what? To reap money from NHIF. And now, you come to realize some of these private hospitals, when the SHA was coming up, it was initially categorically qualified to handle the public hospitals. But now, as we are evolving, it is not categorically the public hospitals. It is even goes to the private hospitals. So we had so many mushrooms in private hospitals that were making a lot of money through the NHIF in the name of giving service to the citizen. Yeah, so that was the real problem. So the first unit were people who were making money through the NHIF with the false pretense. Then the other aspect that has worked marvelous, opposition to the SHA, are the institutions that are offering health schemes, like the insurance companies. So why are they having this? Why were they having this problem? They were having this problem on two aspects. One, the services that SHA was offering were intended to offer, like the critical illnesses like cancer. The NHIF was not offering that, but SHA is offering that. The only variation is the amount of money factored by the government to take care of that. And you see, when critical diseases are now being catered for by SHA, you literally realize those who are using other health schemes will literally come to SHA because of the premium rate. The premium rate in other private insurance firms, the health schemes, are a bit higher than the SHA. So if you can get the same service under SHA, why must you still continue to, let's say, have Britain? If the premium in Britain is very high, yet the service you get through the scheme of Britain and the scheme of SHA is the same. So they saw this thing at walionea hii kitu 18. So kwa kuionea 18, waka reason, if this thing is going to be a reality, then literally we are going to lose business. Like, let me tell you, there was a time Nyong'o was the minister of health. Something came, there were over 200 hospitals. I can only not remember the exact name. But you realize these private hospitals mushroomed within a short period of time. Yes. Yeah.
Okay hapo. Sasa
Yeah.
in medical field
Yes.
wenye unaongelea hivyo.
Yes.
Kenya tumekuwa na shida moja,
Yes.
like you go to an hospital pale,
Yes.
hiyo hospital ni ya public.
Yes.
Ukiwa pale hakuna madawa.
Yes.
But in the process unahudumiwa hivi, unaandikiwa, unaambiwa enda kwa ile shop,
Yes.
nunua dawa pale.
Yes.
Does it mean wenye wanafanya hapo hivyo wamechukua madawa, wamefungua mahospitali zao ama ni nini?
You are right. And that's why I've always told you, the first problem we have as Kenyans is bad manners. We have a lot of bad manners. One, there are things you have to accept. We have enough resources at our disposal. We have enough expertise at our disposal. Even if you go to the health sector, let you not be cheated. We don't have qualified and enough manpower. They are there. Now, the only variation is you walk into a hospital, you will get the personnel. That personnel is going to give you diagnosis, but the end game, you are being referred to a private unit. It is either this private unit is part and parcel of it, or they collaborated with the owner. To an extent, even the lab services, you are being directed to go for a lab service in a private unit. Yet, where that person is working, there are enough facilities, enough equipment, and the expertise to do that. You've gone for an X-ray, then you are directed to a private doctor to go and read for you the X-ray report. Are you getting that? So that one is now in our purely bad manners. And that's why some of these things, they need a leader who is very, very, very clear in what he wants. And the direction on a sober front, when you want to give direction, you say it politely. In a polite language, you say, as a leader, you give direction. In a crook language, you say you dictate. Because Kenyans, you can never manage them that way. Like now, you'll get them giving accolades to the previous leaders, as if what these other leaders offered are in the universe. But at that time, you as a young man, you might not know. Even those times, people are still complaining over the same. So like the SHA issue, I can tell you, those who are fighting SHA are those who are running private hospitals, are those who are running health schemes. So they were threatened economic-wise. And if I go outside the SHA way, I equally tell you to the affordable housing. The affordable housing is not a problem. The problem is the developers. There are those people who made it a trend. It is their business. They want to monopolize. So when the government is trying to open the space, it becomes a problem. And because of the desperation, you realize we get into the mix without understanding why we are in the mix. Like, let me tell you, if, let's say, a program of building houses is earmarked in a certain place, let's say like in a slum, the people who are going to be told to rebel that program are the people staying in the slums. But the people staying in the slums, they don't own those properties.
I have this question there,
Yes.
where ilikuwa inasemekana the landlords ama the landladies wenye wana own manyumba hii Nairobi,
Yes.
hao ndo walikuwa na finance
Yes.
watu wenye watapinga hiyo story ya affordable houses. Kwa
Yes.
sababu gani?
Yes.
Affordable houses ikijengwa hapa, ijengwe place nyingine, ijengwe place nyingine, definitely kama uko na rental lazima itashuka chini.
Yes.
Was it true?
You've had it. That's the same concept. The rationale that is here is just very simple. Cost of doing business involves about with the supply and demand. I think that one you literally know. Like we are in a producer market. We are not highly regulated by the government on anything. So it means whenever I'm a tomato supplier and the supply diminishes, what do you expect at the end of the day? There's going to be high demand of tomatoes. And so what happens? People are going to crave to get. Like the other time we had the issue with the maize flour. You realize if you go to the stockists, like in the supermarket, they'll tell you maximum take two packets of 2 kg each. Are you getting that? So in an event, we don't have a standardized setups like the supermarkets. What is going to happen? You let's say have a little stock, but somebody is telling you how much are you selling? I'm selling at 300. Somebody will tell you, like the Kenyan's mindset, my friend, can you give me a bundle? I'm ready to cost 500 every packet. And that's the way it goes. But the moment you have enough, what happens? Like if you go to Kitale when the product produce it out, you realize 2 kg of maize goes as low as 14 shillings. Are you getting that? So that's the kind of mindset I call it tenderpreneurs are trying to inculcate this country. They sit down, decide and say, if this policy of the government goes through, we are in danger. So, and because they cannot come out to openly to fight it, they fight it indirectly. That's when you see the social media is awash with the complaints. You will get the main media seems awash with complaints. The AI expert will go and explain what is not there. Are you getting that? So that's the kind of situation where we are as Kenyans. Like right now, they'll not tell you SHA is not working. They'll tell you the amount of money the SHA is factoring when you have a problem. The other time they were not telling you these affordable housings are schemes of Mheshimiwa Ruto to mint money. Now the affordable houses are becoming a reality. They are asking who is being given. Are you getting that? So it is simply changing the goalpost. Like now they are telling you with the SHA. Now if let's say you go there, what are they paying? Like the other time we knew NHIF was catering for the bed and what not. Without mention, it was not there. Are you getting that? So they have a lot of questions to ask that are hell bent to confuse the citizen. Yes.
2024-2025 financial bill
Yes.
where we had demonstration.
Yes. Yes.
Um, according to political temperature in the country,
Yes.
tulifight kitu hatujui ama we were right fighting against.
What I can tell you, we were fighting kitu hatujui.
Just tell us.
People were fighting vitu hatujui. Like, for example, they were saying that at the end of the day, that bill, what if it goes through, even the poultry at your place? If you want to say you have 100 hens, every hen you are going to pay. Are you getting that? If you have, let's say, avocado trees, 1,000 of them, you are going to pay tax per tree. Are you getting that? So what is happening here? Those who are ill intentioned will look for something just very peculiar that is dear to your heart. Then they'll tell you. Does not mean there wasn't gray areas in that financial bill. But it was not that bad to an extent that we do what? We trust it and it brings fatal situation like young guys were dying. Are you getting that? What I know that was apparent, the government was trying to probably hype some tax rates kuongeza hapa na pale. Are you getting that? So with that and with the hard economic situations, nobody will want to listen. Like even the one now, the one Mheshimiwa Mbadi is going to present, they've started saying, how can we run with a budget allocation of 4 trillion? Are you getting that? Some of them will tell you we relatively don't have that level of 11 trillion. They'll tell you it has already been paid. And at the other side, they are saying Ruto has stolen every amount of money. Now, how is it being paid? And how has it been stolen? Are you getting that? The Kenyans will tell you there's nothing, a program that is ongoing. Mheshimiwa Ruto is launching toilets, is launching water taps, is launching photomin machines. Are you getting that? But the roads that are going on, they are not talking about them. And if at all they are talking about them, what they'll tell you, those are Uhuru projects. And that's why the other time I said, governments are always progressive. Are you getting that? Like, if you see the way the work plan of the government runs, just like your case, you might be planning to buy a car through savings. But it reaches a time, something crops up. Let's say you've lost a loved one. The school fees here, there's an health issue, and you don't have any auxiliary funds. What do? You evoke the one you are saving, because this is a progressive thing. The moment things are now coming down, you continue with what you are doing. Like, let me tell you, when we come to, for example, land issues, you might realize if you go to the original government plan, you'll realize there's an identical place marked for a road. And you said there, you were given birth, you are 30 years, you were given birth there. Are you getting that? So when you are told this is your mark for road, you start asking how. And we've said all this time. The government plans goes on very gradually. There are facilities they don't use at that time, but when the time comes, they'll use it. Like, let's say this land had issues where Mheshimiwa Rais has a very lavish hotel in Weston. This was said to be Wilson's land, Wilson Airport's land. Basically, it was, yes. But as we progress, they can be hived. If you go to this forest where Sun Valley is, are you getting that? Part of Sun Valley 3 and Sun Valley 2 and St. Mary's is part of that forest. They are hived from that. That's original government plan. But with the proper planning, it can be hived. Are you getting that? But whenever things comes out now, the government say we need to use this. You don't start saying my great grandfather was saying here. Where were they staying before coming there? Are you getting that? Like where I stay, if you are very categorical, you can get somebody stamping authority, this is our land. But that land was for the Kippies. It is because they had love for the upper hill, they went to the highland. I left that place. Yes.
Tukiangalia kidogo tu alafu dakika moja. Sasa loans ya
Yes.
China.
Yes.
Do you think tuko na loan ya China na ni pesa ngapi?
Yes.
Na Kenya inalipaje?
Yes.
Na inawezaisha lini kama itaisha?
What I can tell you, in a lifespan of any progressive human being, you can't survive without debt. You can't. Debt
From China.
from China. This one that is going to run the Rironi Maima Summit Road, the 6 service lines. It is the same one that is going to run the what? The railways. And it is the same one that is going to expand the Nairobi Mombasa highway. Are you getting that? So it is not ending. And now, like the one that I know for now, I'm only talking about that 11 trillion. I stand by the government also. There are things you have to go the professional way. Like when, let's say, results of the nation, the elections is being announced, you'll get every media house giving their results. But we call them provisional results. The ultimate result is the one read by the IBC chair. So whether the financial experts tell me it is less than a trillion, it is 10 trillion, it is a million trillion, the one the government says is the one I stand with. It is 11 trillion. Before adding these other ones that are brought in, we are there. Now, people with personal vendettas are the people who are really trying to talk about when the loan is going to end. Because it is something that is being paid. Even now, the government is paying a loan. Like if you check very keenly, almost the government pays a trillion every year, every fiscal year, for the loans. Are you getting that?
Trillion.
A trillion.
A trillion.
Yeah, for the loans. And that one stands. So, and because there are contracts done through concession and PPPs, it is no crisis. All we need to ensure is the facilities we've used the loan to build are not making losses, like Kenya Railways, SGR. As long as it is not making losses, and the people who gave the loan are part and parcel of the collections, I think we don't have any hiccup. The Nyali Bridge was done through concession. We've not been auctioned. I'm getting that. So basically, it was only Kasarani that was built through grant. Huh?
Stadium.
Yes, stadium. Thika Super Highway, it was built by a loan. Are you getting that? By Mheshimiwa Kibaki. This thing still stands. The expressway is a loan. So we don't really need to get worried about the loans. We only need to be disciplined.
So
And-
we pay yearly
Yes,
1 trillion to
yes,
them.
yes. As at now. Yes.
There's one of the questions. Okay, I've just come when Mheshimiwa was trying to tell us about the the whatever we are supposed to in terms of the house, affordable housing. Yes. My question is, for the affordable housing, we're asking ourselves, because this is something that even the Rigathi Gachagua had asked. Is it a priority? Do we not have houses? I know you're going to respond to that. Are we not having houses? Or is it a priority that we're supposed to put as a country? If you look at whatever should come first in the hierarchy of priorities that we have, that's number one. Then you've also talked about people having negative energy about whatever the government is doing. Of course, I stand to say that is correct to some extent, but I want to ask you a question. Do you think the whole country, or maybe 70%, there was 54%, 75% in the last that last poll, which said that Kenya is headed towards the wrong direction? So are we saying that it is the country that this 75% of the country, or where the research was done, you know how the research is, actually the parameters. Yeah, you know that. Do you want to say that this 75% of the country are on the wrong direction, are the ones who are wrong, or the government is wrong? That is a question that I wanted to ask. Then very fast, because I want to. You talking about the loan repayment of 1 trillion. If at all you can substantiate that by giving us how is it that you paid, or maybe prove, we also have places to do research. We can go and do research about it. Yeah, SHA is not working because actually you know that. If at all you can tell us how practical this has taken place, so that at least we are leaving this place knowing that SHA is working, it has saved this and that, other than what the government is saying. And then finally, as I finish, there's something you talked about the government, that I stand by what the government says. What if the government is wrong? So maybe you can also talk about it.
Let me tell you. You've asked so many questions. I don't know whether I'm going to remember them. Uh, One, you've talked about affordable housing being a priority. Yeah, you'll remind me as I'm progressing. Let me tell you, from where I stand, affordable housing is a priority. It is a priority, and I'm not bulging about it. It is a priority, not unless you are not part of a settlement scheme. One of the basic requirements of a human being, besides the auxiliary, one is what? Shelter. Another one, food. Another one, clothing. Education is auxiliary. Let me tell you, at one point we have to eat. Even though the per capita of the citizenry might be wanting, not everybody is able to afford 350 in a day. Are you getting that? And when it comes to the clothing is not an issue. The only variation, what type of clothing are you putting on? Except the few who at one point, they are not privileged mentally. They can decide to go naked. Are you getting that? But now, affordable housing is a priority to this government. Reasoning being, the government works on a blueprint. When they were sourcing for votes, they did give them as their blueprints. If at all they were not a priority, then I think the people who gave them a clean bill of health to lead could have told them this one removed. Are you getting that? And so, at the same time, we have to also to agree as a people. The leadership of Mheshimiwa Ruto and these other people elected leaders, we've done what? Delegated to them. They are representing us indirectly. Are you getting that? And whenever you have given moral authority to lead, you don't always go back to them and tell them, please, can I do this? Can I do this? Because at the end of the day, not everybody will accept. People always want to say, this is said and done. Are you getting that? So according to me, let me tell you, affordable housing is a priority, just like Moi made education a priority in the 80s. Are you getting that? So these are factors that we must have to just to consider. And they are. Yes. The next one was? Yes. 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 Yes.
78 or 98? Oh, yes, sir. So my question is it do we need to still need to have affordable housing as a priority? And what if you now say that, because what other people have been saying, this is a deal by the government to have tenders going to the president and the friends and not deliver, not to, so that the affordable housing activities are going on, the construction is going on, but it is being supported by the tender, the tenders from private, from the government, from the president and other people who are close to the president. So my question is, if a school has to get 78 shillings, 78 shillings, just because of an affordable housing, just because of our priority is given to affordable housing, does it really make, you are,
Mheshimiwa, nataka nikusaidie. It is more or less, Mungu akipenda, I will want you to come to my lecture hall. Because when we do a press, and which is like, we want to teach one another, it is not adding up. Let me tell you, how much is funding model requires? How much? That's a rhetoric question. Whenever 98 shillings or zero for that matter is factored to a school, that one is negligible and that's an error of omission. It is whether you are not there. It is not pegged on our priority concerns. How much is factored in the funding model? How much is factored in the affordable housing? So basically, then another thing that I would like us to learn as a people, let us avoid naysays on issues. I've heard, they are saying, who is this saying? And that's why I'm answering that immediate question. When it comes to government issues, I go by the standard government information. If, let me give you a typical example. If the national results of schools, students, can be released by Dick and Harry, are we going to have an educational setup? If election results is going to be released by I go by the bad government position. And that's why if anything touches on military as a spokesman. If you have something touching the police force, there is a police spokesman. If you have something touching the government, there's a government spokesman. Like, for example, when Mheshimiwa Ruto goes and says, we are not going to do this, and it is not an effective decree, it becomes politics. Are you getting that? There was sometimes Moi was saying when he went to Novita, let nobody come here and start demanding IDs from you. You are free, you can walk without IDs. Then they celebrated. The moment Moi just boarded the aeroplane, they were knocked down like hell. Reason being, that was a political statement. So whenever an institution is created, let us learn to live with it. And let me tell you, the basic unit of a society is a family. If there's nobody who's going to speak on that behalf of that family is going nowhere. You'll get a child of 10 years, comes and tell you, here we are operating this way. The father comes and says his, and the mother the same. We don't have a direction. On affordable housing, I still want you to mark my words. It is a blueprint of the Ruto's government, and it has to be a success. Priority issues. We are not talking of funding model having issue because there are no funds. I want us to be very clear. It is not about we don't have funds. The nitty-gritties involving the funding model of universities is just too funny. One, it is the system. Two is the bank. We are a people. Somebody is paying a child's fee in Brooks House School or Brooks Arts. Makini. Are you getting that? Riara. Up to Form 4. When now these students go to university, they want fund funding. Like a child who's school in a day school in the rural areas. Are you getting that? So you get the funding, the boom system like the older days. Boom was not even, you find a student is given a boom and a bursary of 8,000. The end game, what happens with this student? This boom is just meant to do business. It doesn't have an issue. So what is apparent with the funding model of university? Like now, it is one under the bridge. What I always say, if we are people who are positive, we say people with steady, with optimism. We don't have synthetic mind, attitude or negative thinking on almost everything. Then, when let's say my child is placed in a band, that is not mine. The doors are always so very open. You go there and lodge complaint and you prove your case, and you are placed in the right band. We don't throw the band. The whole of the process. In the name of somebody is comfortable with the help, meaning money. This is the setup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tukimalizia, recently former deputy president Rigathi
Yes.
Gachagua
Yes.
alienda akasema to unfollow or unsubscribe from some of the artists from Mount Kenya.
Yes.
Then moja kama Samidoh ikafika point pia akafosiwa aseme mambo kama must go one time nini, so hiyo story ya kuunfollow isiendelee. What can you say about that?
I think that is biopic, stupid, and leaders need to go that way. Because, like, for example, today, what Mheshimiwa, I hold Mheshimiwa with high esteem. Probability of question of Mheshimiwa Gachagua not being a president of this country is so half-half. He can't be or he can't. But based on the level, Raila says loss. What if Raila says we don't do business with the Kikuyu community? What will happen? You might think, because according to us, economically, we are mentally flat. We are as a citizen. There are people who says, these people, like, let me give you a typical example that always trends. People say Luos are poor. Are you getting that? Luos are poor? And Luos are poor. But these poor Luos, they rent 25 houses up to 100,000 in town. They use fuel gasless. Are you getting that? They do everything every other person is doing. You walk to this bars in the night from Friday, like yesterday, today. 3/4 of them, you might think those joints are for the Luos. The music that are being played there are Luos. Go do your due diligence. You are a media personality. One day just walk in there. You'll get people who have crates arranged up to 10 next to their tables. Then you'll get the dialect they are talking. Are you getting that? How can a poor person afford those kind of drinks? You walk to almost these joints in Nairobi. You believe me, you realize 3/4 of the revelers are Luos. Are you getting that? So when you now start saying, Samidoh, you are going to de-whip his followers, not to follow him because he's met a deputy president. What are you telling people? What are you telling people? Already you are trying to tell us that if you are a Kikuyu, trade with the Kikuyu. Now if you tell us the fish will just remain in homabay or in Nyanza, at the end of the day, we are going to throw this fish away because everybody cannot eat this every day. Are you getting that? Yeah. So this is the kind of concept we need to inculcate. The only problem I know, not that Gachagua cannot lead, but we always say your capacity can be evaluated on the way you talk, the way you dress. A leader of that caliber should not demean a musician. That guy is earning an honest living. So it is like, okay, he was talking about Samidoh. Why didn't he instruct those women who were dancing for Ruto when Ruto was making the central tour? Are you getting that? Samidoh could have gone to that joint, not basically because Samidoh loves Kindiki, or Samidoh is pro-government. What Samidoh went for there, yuko kazi. Are you getting that? Like the way he was asking me about the opinion poll. I want people to understand. Like myself, if let's say it is my career path, I'm hired to be a pollster. Remember, I'm a pro-Ruto guy. I'm a pro-Raila guy. What do you expect of me? The poll might not be scientific and standard. Are you getting that? I can skew it the way I want it. Huh?
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
This is what I want. This is my position. I want to, on grounds, because we all come from the same ground, same locality. I'm a Luo, you are a Luo. When things are good, we say them the way they are. When things are not right, we will say them the way they are. For me, I will not. I loved Raila up to 2024 when he refused to support the Gen Zs and has not done anything when the Gen Zs were being killed. So that is when my love for Raila stopped. It doesn't mean that I don't love the Luos. It doesn't. I don't have to be. What I'm trying to say, I don't have to be as praise worship. What Orengo was saying. I don't have to be a praise worship of Raila. When him and his village people, for example, his brothers and sisters, brothers, like Yaokoburu is now an advisor to the government. Like now most of the family members have joined that government and are benefiting. Me, who is coming from Homabay, may not be benefiting that much. But leave alone the fact that I'm coming from Homabay. When things are not right, we will say them the way they are for the sake of posterity, for the sake of the future. Because the future needs us. In that future, Raila will not be there. In that future, these people that are surrounding him and the shepherd, the opinion shepherds will not be there. But for us who are just living, who are coming from the sons of the former slave, the sons of the slaves, and we may have problems. That is why we may talk for the sake of strengthening the government, and so that the government may do what is right for our sake, for our sake.
Okay. A quick one, my friend. I haven't understood you. You are arguing from the position of bitterness.
Not because
I'm the one talking. Learn to do a prayer. You are talking from the position of being bitter. Because, like when you talk about the Gen Zs, I think Raila holds nothing about the Gen Zs. The second position is just very clear. However much you are not contented, does not mean everybody is not contented. Are we together? So that's the kind of way government is done. Because if we now start talking about the Gen Zs, I don't know what you'll talk about with the Mumbai. I don't know what you'll talk about this guy who was in IBC. I don't know what you'll talk about Tomboya. The list is long. I don't know what you'll tell about Alexander Muge. I don't know what you'll tell us about this Gingui Wathiongo who came here, but they did for him what he did, and plus the wife and the children. Are you ready to that? So I don't know what you'll talk about the Wagala massacre. The list is endless. We have to move as a people. Are you getting that? Like when, let's say, there's a criminality that has happened, the government has a way of handling that. I don't know what you talk about, Baby Pendo. The list is long. You are talking from a point of know-how and feelings. I don't know what you'll tell about these guys that were butchered during the Kibaki era. In over 500 youth being said at Mongiti. They are here, but we are not talking about them. I don't know what you tell me about Ndege, who lost every kid and remained a cripple. What happened in Kiamba Church? So if we start bringing all those things, we cannot grow as a country. Are you getting that? The only thing that we are saying, having said all these things that are happening, we have to evolve. And if you hold that one dear to your heart, the day you lose a dear one, let's say a mother, a daughter, a sister, a brother, or a father, then your life will crumble. They say we have to, at one point, forgive and move on. Of course, we cannot forget. Are you getting that? But so there's a way of doing these things. Let me finish. At one point, let me assume the government killed these young guys. I think it is common sense. Even if they have to organize and see how to solve that problem, they cannot bring it to the public domain. Because one, if it is brought in the public domain, it means you are owning up. And when you are owning up, you have to carry it. Thank you very much.